And welcome to the Evidence Reasons Academy. I'm Salvador Cordova. I'm about to eat my first meal of the day. I have purchased my first two Egg McMuffins, first ones that I've had in a long time, like say 3 or 4 months. Just so you know, I'm battling the onset of pre-diabetes. I'm not anywhere near diabetic, but I'd like to keep it that way. The numbers indicate that it's time to be cautious and to try to exert some short-term inconvenience and sacrifice for long-term benefit. I don't know how long I'd live. If I knew I would die today, I think I'd pig out on the stuff I like. But if God calls me to remain here and fight the good fight for another 40 years, I'll be 162 years old, if that 102 years old, I'm sorry. 102 years old if he keeps me around that long. I had a great-great-grandfather that lived to be 103. He didn't die of natural causes. He died while working in a lumber yard that he owned. And there was an accident there and he passed away, sadly. He probably could have lived longer. He's working, 103 years old. Longevity is in our family. If you knew my sisters, especially Veronica and my mother, they looked unusually young for their age. I think I've inherited a little bit of that. I'm 62. On a good day, I will look a lot younger than that age. On a bad day, I look my age. So some of this is inherited. Most of my metrics indicate good, except for the glucose levels and cholesterol's high. But I'm now disbelieving that you really need to lower cholesterol. Everybody's body is different, and it's far more important that I limit the glucose levels. I'm happy to report that my fasting glucose level, as tested just like within the last 30 minutes, was, let's see if I could get the glare out. Turn this down a little bit. I don't know if you could see it, 87, and the units are milligrams per deciliter, 87. And that's a good number. If diabetic is considered 125, pre-diabetic would be 100 fasting. Now, since the numbers fluctuate so much, these would be considered average numbers. I'm kind of at the very, very bottom of pre-diabetic. And even then the doctor said, wait till you get to 125 to be really concerned. I'm not going to wait till I get there. If I can move that needle down to 80, I'd be in a sweet spot range, especially for someone my age. My A1C is 5.9, which is considered pre-diabetic, but not by much. And so that would mean it's at the point of manageability using diet and exercise. So let me show what I'm going to eat. I have tea sweetened by good sweeteners, which would be stevia, monk fruit, or allulose. I have to eat some creatine. Got some creatine here, creatine monohydrate. And I'm going to mix it with a probiotic yogurt, which I'm not thrilled about, but it was available. Activia. There are probably better ways to get probiotics, but the whole probiotic science is new to me. Because I have lactose intolerance, I should swallow 2 lactate pills before taking the yogurt. Now, it said that these aren't lactate-free, these are not lactose-free yogurts. There are products like that in lactose-free cheeses. So if you are lactose intolerant like me, that would be ideal. They're hard to get and often much more expensive than the regular stuff. So one strategy to get around that is to take lactate pills that have the enzyme to break down lactose. I actually don't know the name of the enzyme. I don't know if it's listed here. It's called lactase enzyme. So lactase apparently breaks down lactose. It says to take with your first bite, and that's the brand I use. Now, I used to eat tons of ice cream, but it would have to be lactate. This is ham that I got from Food Lion. I put some honey mustard on it. The honey part is not good. It's not even honey. It's high fructose corn syrup, which isn't good. Uh, um, since it's just a dressing, I don't think it's that bad. I have to actually scrutinize the numbers a little bit more carefully. So I'll eat this. I had my egg McMuffin. The bad part of the McMuffin is the bun. And maybe there's some other processed food in there, but I'm treating myself because I'd like to celebrate and also honor. I received over the last 3 months several $1,000s to support my channel. And it's gratifying to see that people are acknowledging my work. I'm grateful for the donations. There's probably a link somewhere on the channel. I may have to install it. These people know me by word of mouth, and they're donating. I have to get all that squared away, and I'm also getting set up for tax deductible for those who would benefit from making large donations to a tax deductible entity. But it's freed me up to be able to prepare for my big show on the 22nd. A rehearsal will be on the 7th for the Creation Summit. I will share the stage with James Tour on the 22nd. The summit is from the 21st to 22nd. The 7th is coming up is a rehearsal just for connections. They've requested that all of us make pre-recorded presentations just in case there's a glitch in the summit, which is all virtual. And so I've had time to make videos, which I plan to do, and I have to. So I'm just sharing a little bit of nutrition because I enjoy talking about it. It's just good for my mental health to share. I think many times I need you all in the audience more than you need me, but I'm grateful for everyone. And even though my channel doesn't have a lot of viewers, the people have noticed my work on websites and also on KLTT. I've gotten 200,000 views. So it doesn't bother me so much that I may get 12 views for a video I labored very hard to make here. That's kind of good for me, my mental health, just even to have a few friends interlocutors that would watch. But 200,000 views on just only 5 videos at KLTT. And I'm expecting such appearances will grow. I'm hoping the Creation Summit will get a lot. I've probably gotten 1 or 2 million views on the documentary I was a part of on McLean Bible Church. So what happens on the channel specifically is not representative of all of the people that have benefited from hearing my work. And the financial generosity has just been tremendous this month. That's why I'm setting aside time to honor all those contributions to make YouTube videos. Now, these things about food don't really count that much, but I need to get them out of my system before I get to the serious stuff. Now, this is creatine powder that I'm adding because I need to gain muscle mass. I need to also figure out ways to boost testosterone naturally without using supplements, because supplements, I think they're analogous to steroids, short-term gain, long-term damage. It's better to figure out ways to raise your testosterone without using I guess food with testosterone. I don't know. I'm learning about that now. Because women are able to do fine without testosterone, maybe men can live with reduced amounts. But from a practical standpoint, because you're a guy, I'm a guy, um, maybe the rest of my physiology would just feel better with more normal levels. And I've been below the mean by about 2 standard deviations in certain times in my life. I've been better recently. Exercise, fat, vitamin D. Speaking of which, I need to take my vitamin D, which I'm going to do now. And this is my first meal of the day, by the way. That's why because I was so busy, I actually forgot to eat or set it aside. Anyway, I have also these are electrolyte solutions. Now you're not supposed, they're advertised as energy drink, but there's not, energy is measured in joules or calories. 0 calories means it doesn't add any energy. It may make you feel like you have more energy because it's meant to address deficiencies in electrolytes, which would be sodium, potassium, I think magnesium, and some other stuff. I do know that once I started consuming electrolyte drinks for the first time in my life in large quantity, modest quantity, actually large for me, okay? You're supposed to consume only modest amounts. I started to feel great. And it's a feeling I want. So to continue. So as many of you are all aware, I'm attempting a ketogenic diet because I've lost too much weight, in my opinion. I mean, way too much weight. Even, the ketogenic diet, one form of it is carnivore. You eat anything that's from an animal. So that would be, it's, the meat or the eggs or the dairy products. So, but you have to avoid carbohydrates, which is very hard to do. So my Egg McMuffin sandwich has bread in it, and that's not good for if you're going keto. But at this point, I've lost so much weight, I'm feeling it's almost going to be more dangerous to remain at pure keto. So this is a hard-boiled egg. What, I'm having modest amounts of carbohydrates. The sweeteners are allulose, monk fruit, and stevia. And I sweeten my drinks that way. I can also, although I miss sodas very much, I'm going to see if I can get Coke syrup without the sweetener, and then I can just add seltzer water and then have Coca-Cola that tastes just like Coca-Cola. Hopefully there will not be caffeine in it, although I'm willing to compromise and have a little caffeine. It affects your sleep, and sleep is really important. I will tell you, as I've been very careful for all these little things, they start to add up. So let's say there are 30 or 40 things you need to do to improve your health and how you feel. And each of them only contributes 1% to making you feel better. Well, you do all 40 things, then you're feeling 40% better. Now, that's a lot of effort, but long term, it's good for you. And I started to feel good enough. I mean, I began to have more hours of the day that I felt good. And that's a nice feeling to have. So I think I'd like that to continue as long as it's not too painful. I think the biggest thing for me uh, was not anything that required a lot of agony, or the feeling of sacrifice. The using monk fruit. Do I have any here? Yeah, I'll show it to you. This is what I use. This little change of switching table sugar. See, I was still drinking sodas, which are high fructose corn syrup, but I was using this as a sweetener and to make my desserts or whatever, monk fruit. I lost 20 pounds in 3 months. That was scary because I was already kind of skin and bones. Well, not quite. I had a pot belly, but I wasn't obese. But I lost the weight very quickly, and 20 pounds is a lot for me because I'm small. I'm small. Um, I got, you know, uh, where was I headed with that? That was the biggest thing, and it didn't require a lot of effort. Uh, I mean, monk fruit isn't cheap, but I would say I put it in the affordable range for sure. It's not as cheap as sugar, but it's certainly not as expensive as buying a steak dinner. Um, you can get for $25 a month's supply, and that's a month's supply for someone that uses a lot of sweetener, which I do. And one thing that I don't know that anyone would want to do this, but I really like my food sweet. So I'm sorry, I was peeling the hard-boiled egg. So let's see, do I have a salt shaker here? Here it is. So I like my food on the sweet side, and I put monk fruit on it. And I wanted to show my monk fruit. This is it. I like that brand, by the way, for anyone interested. Um, so I have 2 hard-boiled eggs and ham. And I got to tell you, this is the way I was eating for days, and I couldn't stop losing weight. Um, I mean, I would eat as much of this and the ham and beef as I could stuff down my mouth. I mean, I'm like, why didn't anyone, just rhetorically saying, why didn't anyone teach me this stuff? Um, I wouldn't have had to been on starvation diets. I would have been on a diet that you're just about vomiting because you're eating too much. Um, so I had ham and eggs, and I still have room for this McMuffin. Now, what I'll do for the McMuffin, there's a way you can make this taste even better. You can use this allulose. And this is also a good product. It's not as sweet as monk fruit, but it tastes like sugar. Monk fruit and stevia have definite tastes that will say, oh no, this isn't sugar. If I took a teaspoon, like say tablespoon of this, you'd think it's regular table sugar. Now, when you're trying to whatchamacallit, when you're trying to sweeten your tea or coffee, the difference will be you'll need like 2 or 3 tablespoons to make your tea or coffee. If you only needed a teaspoon of regular sugar, you need tablespoons. For some reason, when I did what you just saw me do and consume that allulose, it just, the experience felt like I couldn't tell the difference between that and real sugar. Not that I put tablespoons of sugar in my mouth, but that's kind of like, it was sweet enough, it would have fooled me. Now, where I'm increasing my, now let me just try something here. This yogurt's a little bit too sour, so I'm going to sweeten it. This might alarm you guys. Again, you're like, how can you do that, Sal? It's like, well, my glucose doesn't move. This has a 0 glycemic index. And so I'm going to pour this in my yogurt. Now it has all this allulose in it. Wow. Oh my goodness, that's good. But I can put either monk fruit or allulose on my Egg McMuffin. So I think monk fruit has a nicer taste, but for this round, I'm going to just put a tablespoon of allulose on my Egg McMuffin here. Oh, and I'm spilling it all over my keyboard. There's a tablespoon of allulose. Let's just taste how this goes. So Egg McMuffin has steak. Oh, this is a steak and egg McMuffin. It's not an ordinary McMuffin. It's a steak and egg. Here it is. You can see the wrapper. Steak and egg McMuffin. They weren't supposed to give me it. Oh, the wrapper says bagel, but it's a muffin. They put the wrong wrapper, but they used the muffin. I don't like the bagels. I like the muffin. That's really good, guys. Now, what I want to show, do I feast like this all the time? Maybe not as much. I just wanted to show the spectrum, but it's close to it. And there have been days I've eaten even more. But I was talking about butter and the fact that if you were on a weight program, which I'm not because I'm skin and bones, if I were, what I know now is for many people, maybe there are exceptions out there, to eat fat, you have to lose fat, you have to eat fat. But with one condition, you can't eat high glycemic index, sugary products, high fructose corn syrup, which is your sodas, high fructose corn syrup, table sugar, glucose or dextrose, which is your honey. So you could eat butter. So I have a stick of butter here. I have sticks of butter here, like this. See, well, it started to melt. Let me see if I could turn off the, I'll turn off the light. See, this is butter, and it doesn't taste so good. But you can eat it straight if you can tolerate it. What I do is I put large amounts of butter. You could see how big the, and then I would I put it in the toaster, and this thing is soaking with melted butter. The non-ketogenic aspect of that, of course, is the bread, and I haven't figured my way around that. But I put 2 tablespoons. I already pre-prepared this. Unfortunately, I think I burned this after toasting it. I was rewarming it in the microwave oven, and I think I caramelized the allulose. I put 2 tablespoons of allulose, and I put some cinnamon. Let's see if this is still edible. It tastes like a burnt pastry. So um, I don't know if I should eat it, but I'm trying to think. There is a food that tastes like this. But I was laughing with someone. I said, and I love donuts. And I said, maybe I could kill my donut cravings by eating this. You know, the bad part is the bread, but I can, the allulose will replace the sugar, which is really damaging, but it still stays sweet. Butter is very good for you. It has medium chain triglycerides, which are a good kind of triglycerides that lowers all the bad numbers down. Um, and generally, your cholesterol may go up. And the conscious decision that I made, I said it's better to have high cholesterol than diabetes. I'm going to make that trade off. And anyone in medicine kind of knows there are times you might be facing that. They've tried to fix all this with drugs, cholesterol lowering medicines, and I've talked at length about why they're bad. Um, and they're rethinking whether high cholesterol is necessarily bad. It can be bad for some people. Additionally, what if it is only, it may not be causal, it may be a symptom of something else. And that's, so if you have a symptom, it's high cholesterol, lowering the cholesterol might not be treating the underlying condition. And that's what statin drugs might be doing. And there is good reason to believe the statin drugs are actually doing damage, especially to brain function. I can tell you that from experience. So now I just noticed something. I just wanted to share this. When I buy my ham, they add all this free stuff, and I have all this tons of Swiss cheese. I couldn't, I've been having some digestive issues, and I have to be very careful how much Swiss. I'm worried if it's my lactose intolerance, but I thought I took enough of the lactate. So I think I might have to take another lactate pill before I partake of this Swiss cheese. I mean, I had some really bad issues. And I'm, you know, is it probiotic issues or whatever, or do I really need more lactase enzyme? Um, so I would like, I remember eating cheese and I never had that much reaction. It is entirely possible I ate something that killed my probiotic pathways or caused something in my body. But I can eat this Activia yogurt if I take the lactate. I can, but now the question is, can I eat cheese? Cheese is consistent with a ketogenic diet. Mm. Um, I have a, let's see, do I have a small piece? It's all Swiss cheese. I love Swiss cheese. I have a piece from a brick of Swiss cheese. One time when I ate a brick, I got very sick digestively. So we'll see if I've taken enough lactase enzyme to solve the problem. Now, when I was having intense sugar cravings, which thankfully I no longer do because of all of the, the monk fruit stevia and allulose. I used to mix sugar. I used to mix stevia, either sometimes mainline it because I was so craving the sugar. Stevia I use is from GNC. No, you can get this at Amazon. New Naturals. And I like it better than the powdered stuff because the powdered stuff they use decaking or anti-caking. They may use anti-caking substances to keep the powder from coagulating. But I'll tell you that the powdered stuff has a residual taste that I don't like. The liquid is much tastier to me personally. Um, I would sometimes mainline the stevia into my, mouth, and it'd kill my sugar cravings. Mm. And stevia is very, very sweet. And this is like eating candy. So this is one way to kill the craving. Monk fruit isn't. That's the stevia. It triggered a sneeze reaction. Um, so when I was craving candy, chocolates, all this trick or treat stuff after Halloween, I was just mainlining stevia into my mouth. It it made life bearable. So now the problem with peanut butter is it has lectins, and Dr. Stephen Gundry gave a long list of reasons you shouldn't eat lectins. I don't agree 100% with everything he says, but that does sound reasonable. Tomatoes have lectins too. Now this is sweetened tea that also has flavoring. Mayo. There's mayo flavoring. Kool-Aid isn't a good flavoring. Mayo added to your tea. You can make a nice tasting drink. And since I'm a soda freak, I realized I could add seltzer water to my drink, and it takes away the craving of soda. But one of my long-term projects is to try to make drinkable Coke for myself. But I add seltzer water. A lot of the fizz is gone, but there's something about the carbonated water that just makes it goes down really smooth. That being said, what I need to also consume, because I've seen I've had good reaction to it, is some electrolyte, some Powerade electrolyte balancer. That's really good. So I'm not going to force you to see. It's probably going to take me at least half an hour to finish eating. So um, I'm definitely going to finish my yogurt. I'm going to finish my ham and eggs and cheese. So I still have ham, eggs, and cheese to finish. I don't know if I'll get through my entire Egg McMuffin, and I'll just have this piece of bread as a snack. I think as far as the peanut butter, I'll probably save that for another day. I do have, if I get hungry, I have a bowl of ground beef that I prepared like that. I probably will get through all that food by the end of the day. I don't think I could do it in one sitting for sure. But I should take my zinc. So I've had creatine, zinc, and enough vitamin D. Now, magnesium is the next thing. Now, there are two magnesium supplements that I have used. Taurine is supposed to be really good, and I have magnesium taurate for that. But it makes me feel funny. So I do seem to recall Dr. Eric Berg, chiropractor, would say, what time of day do you take your magnesium supplements? He said just before I turn in. That'd be a good time because there's something that may be causing me to just feel funny when I take taurine immediately. The long-term effect is supposed to be good. Now, my favorite is the pineapple gummy magnesium supplements. I could eat them just as candy, unfortunately. And I don't know if too much, at what point too much magnesium becomes toxic. So let's see what other supplements. I occasionally go for a multivitamin, but I'd say vitamin D and zinc and creatine are the main ones. I should take magnesium because vitamin D doesn't work unless you have magnesium. Um, I think that's it for most of the supplements. There's probably some that I forget. Oh, the lactate I have to be, when I eat certain foods. Um, I used to take turmeric. I don't right now. There might be some uh, glucosamine for my joints, which I don't take frequently. I have been concerned that this iodine supplement has been, causing gut issues. Um, Although iodine is very good for you. So, I'm gradually trying to figure out what may be causing me to um, have digestive issues. So, oh, this is Swiss cheese. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? That kind of covers it. Um, I just, I wanted to celebrate um, supporters coming along to make possible my presentation with James Tour. And to do that, I decided to get a McDonald's steak and egg McMuffin. Before I forget, steak and egg breakfasts were it's the battle breakfast. If it was the day to go into combat and you were an aviator aboard an aircraft carrier in World War II, you had the privilege of being served steak and eggs that morning. So the commanding officers would tell the cooks steak and eggs this morning. And that's how the pilots knew they were probably going to go into combat that day. And while I thinking about it, the Battle of Midway, sometimes the cooks would say, this might be your last meal. And it's kind of a bittersweet breakfast. You're shaking hands with your comrades and, some of them may not be coming back, um, almost guaranteed. And in the Battle of Midway, this is where I learned about the battle breakfast. Uh, Even though the Americans were victorious tremendously by good margin, they suffered. Some pilots lost their lives in sacrifice to the cause. I want to acknowledge their sacrifice. I'm here able to enjoy the good life because of what they did, and also I'd like to acknowledge my dad who fought in World War II and gave me the good life, something far better than I deserve. And I'm extraordinarily grateful for that. So, the battle breakfast being steak and eggs, and I have a steak and egg McMuffin. I'm off ready to go to war, baby. I want to have that warrior mindset that we're fighting against the challenges of living in this cursed world, fighting for our existence and for the things that God has laid upon us to bear our cross for. And the battle breakfast is a good reminder of that. Steak and eggs, baby. Steak and eggs. Battle breakfast. And it turns out that's a pretty good combination, despite what the nutritionists have said for decades, and now they're kind of eating their words. Steak and egg breakfast is good. It's a lot better than Kellogg's cereal. As much as I like Kellogg's cereal, all that sweetened, sugary, high carbohydrate cereal. Um, Although, I enjoyed it. So with that, bon appetit, whatever that means. Glory and honor to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And may God bless all those who love our Lord Jesus Christ with an undying love, as it says in Ephesians 6, verse 24 or 34. And God bless you all. Thank you for joining me and having a late breakfast or early dinner, depending on how you look at it. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I can't tell you how much you all mean to me and how much you've enriched my life. So with much gratitude, take care and God bless you.